say hello and welcome. Today is, what is today? It's already August 9th. Where did this year go?
Six.
Good Lord.
It's the 6th. The 6th.
August 6th.
Oh, six. You know what? Sorry. I have September up, so we're already there. Oh my goodness. August 6th. There we go. Thank you. Welcome to the MasterClass by Master Coaches. And I'm going to go ahead and our announcements real quick. We've got, just a second, lost my screen here for a moment. There we go. All right. So we've got coming up, we've got our outreach committee monthly call. So that's going to be on August 8th. Yeah, it's a good thing it's not August 9th. Yeah, that's in 2 days. That's at 9 a.m. and it's open to all ICF South Florida members. If you are interested in learning about joining or participating with the outreach committee, you are welcome. We also have the Emerging Leaders session coming up next week, Tuesday, August 12th at 7 p.m. Our own Claudia, who, if you haven't heard, she is our VP of Programming and DEIB. And that is for people who are interested in getting into leadership, especially within the chapter. It helps you grow all those wonderful skills. Barter Coaching Practice Lab, Friday, August 15th. Coach Latte is coming up on, it's the South one, because we've got one coming. We just haven't got a date yet for it in Dania. So there'll be a Broward one, but the Miami one is at La Boulangerie. I can't say that right. Will somebody pronounce that correctly? Who speaks French?
La Boulangerie.
Okay. So that one is, and there's free parking in the back. I paid at the meters out front. But oh, good grief, is it fun? And Get Shift Done is on August 19th, where you can come in and work with Coaches Accountability. From what I've heard, this is an absolutely fabulous session. ICF Wellbeing Gathering at Books and Books. This is new. So this is in Coral Gables. That's going to be on August 21st, 6 to 9 p.m. And remember, you can find all this on the calendar as well for the ICF South Florida. I'll put that link in a moment. And we've also got AI Music Tech, Nonviolent Communication, on August 27th. That's going to be at Miami-Dade College in the AI Center. But today we have a dear friend of mine. And I insisted on hosting this event because, Robin, I can't remember how long I have known you, but my heart just immediately connected. We were laughing because we're both wearing purple today. It's like, how random is that? You can read her profile. You can read about her. She's a fabulous MCC coach. She's a mentor. She's a supervisor. I've seen her skills in training, and she does leadership development, and she is just positively amazing. And what a survivor. This bottom paragraph is my favorite. Robin's journey is a testament to resilience and determination. And in the amount of time that I have known her, I haven't known her whole life, but the amount of time I've known her, resilience and determination is absolutely a thing. And she's a patent holder. How great is that? Robin, what's your patent in? And what else did I miss that you want people to know as you bring this?
It's an aerator. It is it's to be able to spray paint upside down. So yeah, so you can spray it upside down, or you could vary the width of the actual spray pattern. So you can actually look it up. It's kind of neat. I didn't create it. I helped design it, but yeah. So that's that. Wow.
She's also very modest. Notice she didn't create it. She just helped design this thing. That's amazing. All right. I'm going to put myself on mute. Robin, it's all yours. Thank you for being here.
I am so excited to be here. So thrilled. And I'm deeply honored. Thank you very much for the invitation. And I'm going to start by sharing my screen. I think you can see it now. Is that correct? Perfect. Thumbs
Yes.
up. All right. Let me lose that. All right. Well, welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. My name is Robin Goodbary, as Joanna just shared, and who I am is someone who's committed to supporting others to design and live a life well loved. Among many other things, I value authenticity, kindness, resilience, freedom, and agency. And I truly, truly, truly appreciate the opportunity to be able to just to be with people, to get to know who people are. So today, I have an opportunity to be able to share with you around this topic of establishes and maintains agreements. So I'll start by sharing a little bit about how I came here, and how really why I started to explore this subject. And I will say it's something that if you're not truly present with not only with your client, but also with yourself, you're going to find yourself right back in that same spot. And you might be wondering, well, what spot might that be? Well, I'll tell you a little bit about that. Um, It'd been a long coaching day for me. I was an internal coach, and it might have been my fifth, sixth, or seventh coaching session of the day. And I was on the phone with my client, and I'm listening, and of course I'm asking questions. And then I begin to realize, you know what? I think he said this before. I think. And he keeps talking, and then I hear it again, and now I'm thinking, well, yeah, he definitely has said this before. Then I hear it again. And it feels like we're going around and around and around and around in circles. And then I begin to wonder to myself, are we ever, ever, ever going to land the plane? And then I heard myself, those words actually coming out of my mouth. We've been talking around this a lot. Are we going to land this plane? Well, I feebly finished that coaching session, but quite candidly, and even to today, that coaching session was not finished with me. Now, please note, in that story, at some point in time, I was no longer listening to my client. I was actually having an entire conversation in my own head about what was happening. And my guess is, my gut tells me that, that's a coaching no. So you might be wondering, what spot am I talking about? Well, that spot is the place where it's not completely clear what the coaching conversation is about. And I can't see all of you. I only have a little small, but I'm curious, who else has been in had that experience where they are in a coaching session and they're like, where are we going? What are we talking about? Is anyone else, or am I the only one? Oh, okay. What a relief. Okay, yes, yeah, yeah. So what stuck with me from that experience and frankly caught my curiosity was what was actually going on in that conversation. I'm a curious person. I had loads of questions for myself, like what about that interaction really bothered me? Am I really serving my client? I began to wonder, what is the impact on my clients? What is actually my role in keeping the plane circling? That was the question that really got me. What was my role in it? Because it meant I bared some responsibility. I'd even offer 100% of the responsibility, at least in my opinion. So that pursuit of answers, of finding answers to those questions about what was happening in my role is what keeps bringing me to this, and it's what brought me to this conversation today. So I remain on that journey. So the way to get started is to quit talking about it and begin doing. So today we're going to explore. So my invitation to you is not to sit back, but to lean in, This is an inquiry. This is an opportunity for you to look outside and inside of yourself. We're going to talk about the what and the who of the core competency establishes and maintains agreements. We're going to talk about and explore what do you do to demonstrate facility with this competency. And because our focus is on elevating our coaching, we'll also look at and discuss what ways of being support you to deeply explore the coaching agreement, either at the session level or at the engagement level. You'll have the opportunity during our time together today to explore the perspective that Core Competency 3 establishes and maintains agreements. And this is just a theory that I have, is the most inclusive of the core competencies. We'll take a look at what I'll describe as the what and the who of this competency. And the challenge, the opportunity in this discussion is for us to really talk about any ahas or what ifs or but what abouts or it's kind of interesting. As I said earlier, I invite you to fully engage with this material, reflect upon it, and consider what you want to take from the content and or how you may integrate this perspective in your coaching. Are we ready? Yeah, I see some head nods. Yeah, yeah. So let me just lay a little bit of foundation for you, a little context here. I have, and I'm still operating under the belief that demonstrating artistry with this competency really demands mastery and harmony in cultivating trust and safety, maintaining presence, actively listening, and evoking awareness. These all help an ICF coach to establish and maintain agreements. Cultivating trust and safety means that you're partnering with the client to create a safe, supportive environment that allows the client to share freely. Maintaining presence is being fully conscious and present with the client, employing a style that's open, flexible, and grounded and confident. Actively listening means focusing on what the client is and is not saying to fully understand really what is being communicated, all in the context of the client's world, all to support the client's self-expression. And evoking awareness means that you facilitate your client's insights and learning by using tools like metaphors, powerful questioning, silence, or analogies. These are all essential skills. I honestly believe that they can support a coach to move toward artistry, to establish and maintain agreements with their clients. And that by combining them, you can really have a powerful agreement that's really going to support your client. Said in another way, in other words, everyone knows where you're going. Both of you know when and where to land the plane. So a quick question. I'm going to stop sharing here. So, well, maybe what I'll do is put you in gallery mode so I can see all of you all. I'd love to hear your perspective. What, if anything, resonates with you about what I just shared? Don't be shy.
And if you stop sharing, everybody will be able to see each other because they can't put theirs in gallery mode. I don't think they can anyway.
They can put theirs in gallery mode.
Oh, can they? Never mind.
What are your thoughts?
If I can share. Hi. Well, to me, this session about the agreement arrived at the very right moment because right last week I had a couple of sessions and was like something important is missing. I mean, I have all the thing there, written down, but no, I didn't get to that very important, maybe the main important part of the session, when you know exactly where are you going and what is the client looking for. So all these things that you are saying, oh my God, is like, yeah, I mean, it's something that, yeah, that I'm going to focus, and I'm excited to see the rest of the session because of this what and who. That, yes, I was wondering. I'm a very new coach, so I was wondering inside this part of the agreement, like, okay, finding what our conversation is going to be about, and how do you want to feel? What do you want to take from our conversation? Maybe I'm thinking maybe these are the two questions, the two important part of the agreement, the what and the who. Is this maybe what is about, or a part of it? Well,
I love where you are. Yes. Sorry, go ahead.
no. So I'm curious. I'm going to learn a lot today and make this session an important pillar of my growing and learning in coaching. So thank you.
Awesome. Stay tuned. Stay tuned. Kayla, I think you came off mute. Yes.
Who? Neil?
Yes.
I'm sorry. It's Katya. Sorry. Go ahead. Sorry.
I liked your question when you asked us to show our hands if we ever felt like that. And I found it like very provocative in terms of really reflecting and being true to ourselves as well. And when you said, what is bothering me in this situation? And really, like I thought about maybe certain situations where I felt I was losing presence, and I was probably centering in what was going on with me and maybe distancing from the coaching relationship and focusing on me, and it's very uncomfortable. But I liked your question of asking ourselves, what is bothering me? No, what's going on? So yeah, thank you for that.
Yeah, it started a path. Neil?
Um, one challenge that I have is that when clients aren't prepared with a topic or a challenge in the moment, I'll call it stream of consciousness communication. They'll just start talking. And because I'm very outcome oriented in my understanding and vision for the client's success, sometimes I can take too much responsibility for where the client can go, should go, needs to go, opportunity for the client, and get into my own egoic self around that. And sometimes my story is that how do I say this? Sometimes my story is that what's the agreement here? What's the agreement? What's the possibility of establishing an agreement with a client where it can, my perception is it'd be hard for him or her to sort of be in the moment and reflect more deeply. And where do I go with this? Like, I know where I can go with this, but where does he or she want to go with this? So that's my challenge, is like, okay, what's the agreement here in this session?
Yeah. Where do you take those questions, Neil? Katya and Barbara, where do you take your questions?
I take them to this session. Because
I love it. All right. We'll see if we'll get those questions answered. And if not, we'll circle back. Okay. And we'll also land the plane. Anyone else?
Sorry, Robin, can I ask you? I think I missed, my connection went off. What is this metaphor of landing the plane?
It is in an airport where they the pilot will just start circling the airport. Because maybe another plane is taking off or landing. In other words, they can't land until something happens, meaning that they are just going around and around the airport. I don't know if you've ever experienced that when you've flown. You realize, oh, we're here, but we can't land yet. We don't have everything we need, or the pathway is not clear. The runway is not clear for me to land. So that's what I mean by landing the plane. In other words, coming up with a resolution. No, in other words, knowing where we're going. Put it a different way. Thank you for that question. All right. Okay. Let's keep going here. Thank you very much for that conversation. So what we're going to do is take a closer look at what I refer to as the what, or the technical application of this competency. And we're going to look at all 11 aspects of it. Has anyone ever taken time to really dig into this competency? Yeah, so that's great to hear. So the definition, and I'm not going to read everything. I am going to read the definition, which is partners with the client and relevant stakeholders to create clear agreements about the coaching relationship, process, plans, and goals. Establishes agreements for the overall coaching engagement, as well as those for each coaching session, which might speak to what you're dealing with, Neil, is that the agreement is around the process. How prepared are you coming into our session? Could speak to that. We'll find out. And so there are 11 aspects. These first 4 are more from a bigger picture and engagement, explaining what coaching is and isn't. You're reaching agreements about what's appropriate and what's not appropriate in the relationship. You're reaching agreements about the guidelines. Guidelines, come prepared, and specific parameters of the coaching relationship. And then number 4, you're partnering with the client, and if you're working with stakeholders, to establish the overall coaching plan and goals. So you're partnering with the client and the relevant stakeholders. And then the others are, you're partnering with the client to determine compatibility. You're partnering to identify or reconfirm what they want to accomplish. You're partnering with the client to determine what the client needs to address or resolve in order to believes that they need to address or resolve to achieve what they want to accomplish in the session. You're partnering with the client to determine the measures of success. You're partnering with the client to manage the time. And you're going to continue to coach in the direction that the client has determined. In other words, you're working with your client's agenda, and you're partnering with the client to end the coaching relationship in a way that honors the experience, not only the session, also the engagement. Whew, there's a lot here. There's a lot here. What are you noticing?
It all
It's a lot
happens
of
in partnership.
partnership.
Yeah, partnership. What else are you noticing? Love that. Matter
All
of
about
fact,
what the client wants. It's about
it
what the
is.
client wants.
Yeah. And it is 7 of the 11 of these aspects really do start with partnership. Even the definition starts with partnering. And you're partnering to support the client with what the client actually wants. Anything else? What matters to you about mastering these for your client?
I'm going to jump in. For me, it's to be efficient during the session.
Thank you.
to be precise, and that the client walks out of the session satisfied that we reached, that we landed the plane, that we landed the plane.
Who else?
Remembering that it's not my job to do the partner's job.
Say it again.
It's not my job to do the partner's work.
Ah, because it's the partner's job, huh? It is an agreement. I mean, there are two of you all, or maybe three or more in it.
Yes.
What else? Anyone else?
Maybe part of the partnership is to allow the client time and space to figure out the direction of the plane. Sometimes I'm so concrete in my other role in what I do as an operations person for my company that I just immediately seize on something and say, oh, or think, this is where we're going. And then I'm confirming verbally to the client, and it gets narrowed down too quickly, and that's not partnership. I don't allow enough space for things to blossom, ask the questions, because I'm still wearing that hat of operations person where I'm landing the plane. So I don't think I leave enough space to really listen and inquire about what the client really wants.
Love it.
I think it's also being really courageous. What really matters to me is being courageous to actually attend to all these aspects of this competency, because it's for me relatively easily to sit here and think about it and to preach it and to conceptualize it, and to, you know, it's also beautiful and logical and wonderful. But to sit there across from a client who really is having trouble seeing the clarity in the runway in order to land the plane, and be courageous to uphold these competencies, that's a whole different story, I think.
You all have already stepped into a way of being. It sounds like you're clear about how you're engaging, how you're being. Heather, you mentioned you come in and you're like really concrete. That's your way of being with them, you know, and taking a look. Love that. So we're going to take about 10 minutes. We're going to put you into two groups. We're going to take about 10 minutes. And I invite you to share what matters to your clients and to you about mastering this competency, and what are the benefits to your clients and to you. So what matters to you about mastering this, what matters to your clients and what matters to you, and what are some of the benefits for your clients and for you. So we have 10 minutes, maybe 15-second out, however you've got it set. All right. Joanna, are we ready? Is everybody ready? See you back in 10 minutes. Have a great discussion.
There you go.
Welcome back. The others are going to be coming back probably in about 30 seconds. I'm dying to hear about the conversation, and I want everyone to be able to experience it. So, and thank you
Ours
all.
was really nice. Ours were really, really nice. I learned a lot. Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to ask you what you learned once everyone else comes back. Okay.
And they
Claudia?
should be back. There we
They're
go.
back. Hi. Welcome back. You all found your way back. You didn't get lost. So, how was that? What'd you learn?
Seems that it's a challenge that all of us face in various ways with clients.
Yeah. What are some of the benefits for the clients or for you?
I think that one of the things we discussed was so that the client can get, leave the session with a new insight about themselves.
Hmm. Thank you.
Or even feeling different, right? Not only insights, but also, yes.
I'm sorry, my headset just decided it wanted to disconnect from the Bluetooth. And then I'm like, hold on. And I saw your mouth going, and I'm like, I'm sure she's saying something that's just golden. Is it Flavia?
Yes, it was me. I was just saying and adding to what Claudia brought, that the client feels different, that he feels that something valuable came out from the session.
There's some line of sight and clarity for the client because they know what it is that they wanted. They're clear about what they want to accomplish. They're very clear about what it is, why it's important to them. They're very clear about the measures of success, and where you will be coaching is on what they need to address or resolve in order to accomplish that. So everyone's clear. Love clarity. All right. Anything else anyone would care to share, like that bubbled up where you're like, hadn't considered that, or
to hear those common experiences with our group. Everybody was really open with sharing just the things that we run into, like the client that comes to the session that, oh gosh, I don't know, nothing's on my mind today. That we all run into that. And different ways different questions that might open up the conversation and help reach that coaching experience. It was encouraging to know that this happens to all of us.
Go on, thanks. Joanna?
Had a really fun conversation, and I don't think the people at the table are in this room right now, about nothing being a really wonderful coaching agenda, because there's questions I can ask about nothing. What does nothing mean for you? If you really could achieve nothing, what would that be like for you? Those kind of questions. It's fabulous where the coaching agreement can go, or what becomes part of the coaching agreement. I just think it's super exciting, but I've been playing with it for a minute.
I love that, Joanna. You mind if I steal it?
Oh, please do. Yeah, everybody please steal that, because so I don't want to derail anything, but if each in your own mind right now, if you really could just accomplish nothing, what would that mean for you?
Yes, I was listening something. I mean, that could be the answer, like what is between your moment of thoughts and no thoughts? And this is like it's your consciousness. I mean, what do you get in that moment?
I'm going to have to sit with your question for a while. Or it's going to sit with me forever. Or both will occur. Let's keep going. And let's look at this competency from a different vantage point. In other words, the who, or the internalization of this competency. So far, we've explored and have invited you to challenge your own perspectives on what it means to establish and maintain agreement. So let's look at the who of core competency number 3, or put another way, I'm flipping the mirror so you can look at your way of being, your mindset, your thoughts, your feelings, assumptions, fears, needs, blind spots, hidden talents, whatever it is, you. We're looking at you. We're looking at you when it comes to demonstrating, establishing, and maintaining the agreements. The question is, or a question is, who do you need to be to demonstrate this competency? And then coach at these different ICF levels. Who do you need to be? So that's what we're going to talk about going forward. And I really deeply invite you to explore this for yourself. I'll share with you a perspective of mine. The invitation is you can take this, you can add on to it, you can create your own. Okay? We're looking within ourselves. Many times coaches approach this from when they're working with these competencies, they look at it from a perspective of what is it that I need to do to coach at this level? What do I need to do? Well, you also, in many ways, are working with your clients who. So because you're working with your clients who, it's also a question of you working with your who. And in my mind, it stands to reason that to be a coach, you also have the opportunity to work almost exclusively with who you are being as a coach. Who are you being as a coach? So I offer that it really does involve adopting a collaborative and client-centered approach that really does focus on creating a safe and supportive coaching environment. A place where the client really does feel heard, respected, and empowered. And again, this is just an offering, it's a perspective that I've got 4 pillars that can support you in fulfilling upon that objective. So the first one is co-creation. In other words, creating something that did not exist, a new possibility, a new view, a new perspective. Collaboration. Remember partnering? 7 of 11 of the aspects of having that core competency. I'll call it a positive mindset or a positive attitude. We'll talk a little bit about this in more detail. In other words, your underlying beliefs. What do you believe about yourself? What do you believe about your clients? What do you even know what your underlying beliefs are around coaching? And then lastly, being flexible and adaptable. In other words, a way of engaging with your client in a way that really is flexible and adaptable. So we're going to look at these one at a time, okay? Co-creation, creating something that wasn't there in the very first place. Co-creating that coaching agreement with the client based on their unique needs, their goals, and their expectations. Now, for that to happen, what does it mean for you? In other words, if you were going to stand in the place of being co-creative, what do you need to address or resolve inside of yourself to free you up to create? So I'm going to ask that question 4 times. For each of these, that's the question I'm inviting you to explore. And then after I go through each of the 4, we're going to talk about it. So the question is, what do you need to resolve or address inside of yourself to free yourself up to co-create and paint in this way? Being flexible and adaptable. You want to be certain that you're actively listening to ensure that you are hearing the client's changing needs and circumstances. And this is a way to value your client's feedback, and it also will encourage ongoing collaboration and ongoing dialogue, all to help to ensure that coaching agreement It remains aligned with what the client said that they want to accomplish. If that's changed, now you have a different agreement, and it's aligned with their needs and goals. So the opportunity is to always be willing to revisit and revise that coaching agreement as needed. That's not anything new, I'm guessing, for you all. You want to be sure that it is aligning to the client's goals and objectives. So then there's that question. What do you need to address or resolve inside of yourself to free you up to be able to be flexible and adaptable? A collaborative approach that involves approaching the coaching agreement as a partnership between you and the client, or among you, the client, and the sponsor, if that's appropriate. So we're talking about deep partnering here. Partnering that arises organically, almost effortlessly. And so as you are working with the client to design a clear and comprehensive agreement, you know that it will be aligned with the client's needs and goals. So again, what do you need to address, resolve inside of yourself to be able to paint on that canvas? And lastly, a positive attitude. Maintaining a positive attitude throughout the entire coaching engagement and coaching conversation. Now, it could mean that you're being supportive, encouraging, empowering, and or whatever, and focusing on the client's strengths, resources, and potential. You actually get to decide and define for yourself what positive means. It's not for me to say, so you get to decide. I don't know what it is for you. I know what it is for me. Hence the inquiry. So what do you believe and assume about your clients? What do you honestly, like, no kidding, good, bad, ugly, embarrassing, believe about your clients? For me, I choose to believe that the client is perfect, whole, and complete. And I also believe that in my role as coach, I get to challenge them. While I believe them, I also see that there is a story for them. I can learn from them. I don't assume that I know what they mean about whatever it is that they're sharing. I'll be with you in a second, Jerry. And I'm always curious, and I invite them to reflect and explore and continue to peel the layers back. So what is it that you need to address or resolve inside of yourself? Jerry.
Yeah, for me, when you were speaking of that attitude and mindset, I think it also brings in being judgment and bias free as well.
I often say, know what my biases are and know when I'm judging.
Right.
And be intentional about setting those aside.
Agreed.
Or owning them fully. Because that's how I think about judgment. I love that. So I'm curious, what is coming up for all of you all, any of you all, around what I just shared? Here's what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to ask you to sit and just to think about this, reflect on this for a couple of minutes, because then we're going to go into and you'll have an opportunity to share in a small group. So what I'm inviting you to think about is what's coming up for you around this, or what questions are emerging, and what ways of being support you. So just give that a couple of moments of thought. If you want, you can write down some of your responses, and I can stop talking so you can hear yourself think. So when we get back to when we go into our rooms, we're going to have 2 rooms, and there'll be you'll have an opportunity to talk for 10 minutes about what's coming up for you around this concept, what questions are beginning to emerge. And what do you need to address or resolve inside of yourself? And what ways of being support you? So everyone has some thoughts about that? And when Joanna tells us that she's ready, we're going to send you away for another 10 minutes so you can talk amongst yourself. And then we're going to come back in plenary and just have a really robust conversation around this. Okay? Looks like the rooms are open. See you all soon. Bye. Welcome back, everyone. I'd love to hear about your conversation. We'll start with some different questions. Will you please share what was coming up for you around this whole perspective, this whole concept of the what and the who and who to be?
Shakti, can I invite you to do the summary you did in our group? It was really good.
Sure. I think what I'm so bad about repeating something that I just said, but I think what came up for me that I noticed is that, we all notice differences in some things that we focus on in the who, but at the end of the day, I think all of it relates to who we are as people and who our clients are, and continuing to be reflective of that over the course of your coaching experience, and know that, and always be okay with everything being normal. I think normal is the word that came up from one of the people who spoke, and so one of the attendees. And so I think it's all normal and it's all okay. And what I heard is, staying connected with yourself and with your clients, so that you can be most truthful as to whether you are being who you need to be in that relationship, but also if you are in the right partnership at all times. So
Thank you. Who else? What about some questions that are emerging for you?
as I'm thinking, can I raise a question that's coming up for me in this moment? I'm curious how much we actually do this work when it's needed. Like I think for me that there are certain sessions I go into and I feel that I'm prepared, but then I'm in the session, I realize maybe I wasn't as prepared as I should have been. So I think maybe it's bringing up a question in me of, how I might want to shift my preparation or really be attentive to some of these more core and basic competencies before stepping into the actual coaching meeting or my day, whatever ends up working.
For me, it was making certain that I'm clear in terms of what's happening for me, what's happening with my emotional regulation, what's happening with my energy, and where my head is around all of this, and being ready, equipped, prepared to either deal with myself and set it aside, or deal with myself, or set it aside, or figure out, okay, what do I need to do here? What do each of you, what do you believe about your clients? Like at the end of the day, secretly up under the desk, in the back of the closet, what do you believe about your clients that you may not even want to say out loud? And one of mine that I'm almost, oh, Neil, go ahead.
My secret in the closet belief is they want to grow within their comfort zone.
I love that. And what consequently, how then does that impact your way of being?
Well, listen, damn it, I want to grow. I want to operate it within my comfort zone. So certainly that my story is a mirror of me.
I love the truth telling here. Who else wants to tell the truth about it?
Yeah. Well, when you're an MCC, you can tell the truth about your blemishes.
Mine is that they need me. Me. That's my ego. And so I'm like, oh boy.
Yeah, I love that.
I had to deal with that one. Who am I to think that?
I've quite often thought they're not courageous. Huge judgment.
Yeah. No, but the thing is that whether you realize it or not, those beliefs can be insidious and can impact your questions, your listening, the way that you're partnering or not. So the opportunity is to get true for yourself. What do you honestly believe? And then choose, how do you want to engage? So for you, what's beginning, if anything, is what's beginning to open up for you around your way of being in establishing and maintaining the agreement? What are you beginning to see that you need for yourself?
I think sometimes, sorry,
Hold on.
I find myself getting a little frustrated because some clients really want accountability and they know they procrastinate. And so, we end a session with an action item for next week. And again and again, they come back, well, I want accountability and I really want to get this done. I mean, I didn't do it, but I really want to get it done and I want accountability, but I didn't do it again. But I still want accountability. I mean, so it's like, it's a little frustrating. I'm not going to lie. So I have to really put that frustration aside and just know that, that part is, on their side of the partnership. And, as long as I'm on my side of the partnership, then, then we're both doing what we, have agreed to do. So for me, that's sometimes frustrating.
Yeah.
I
And
have
you can
to
get really curious with them. What's
Yeah.
going on for you?
Yeah.
Or how are you defining accountability? What does accountability look like to you? What does accountability mean to you? 'Cause if in fact you're partnering with them,
Mhm.
how are each of you holding that partnership? Yeah. Curiosity. Love it. Barbara, thank you.
Yes, I was thinking that the thing that you said, that the client is perfect, whole, and complete, that we have to maintain this concept very in front of us before, during, and after the coaching conversation, and find a way to be able, I don't know, for the client to know that this is what we think, but also to get to think this also about ourselves.
Oh, wow. I love that. That you yourself are perfect, whole, and complete. Amazing. Thank you for adding that to there because I hadn't added that to there. Thank you so much. So that's your way of being. I think I'm hearing you say that, or how you would want to be as you're engaging with people, as that's really who you are. You're a reflection of them. I'm seeing some things in the chat here. I would love for you to give some voice. I'd love to have your voice in the room for some other folks. what else? What else are you discovering for yourself about what, like for me, I shared with you, I want to co-create, and I want to be flexible. I want to have a positive mindset and attitude. What do you want for yourself? And I love, Barbara, what you just laid out there.
For me, it's about finding my own definitions with the 4 blocks you put, like what is positive for me.
Mm.
And I like to challenge myself, and also I like to challenge my clients. No, so in maintaining that positivity, and maybe it would be really reflecting on how I want to show up, and what I need to continue working and developing.
Got it. Okay. Well, we're coming up. We only have a couple minutes left here, right, Joanna?
Yes, ma'am. I'm going to put
Yeah.
the
Hold on one
survey
second.
in the
Yeah, go ahead.
chat. But
Sorry.
go ahead.
No, I'll stop talking. Please say what you're going to say. I stepped on you.
I was just going to say that I was putting the survey information in the chat. I'll put it up on the screen, a couple minutes before 10, but that way you have it in the chat right now. And so you can let us know at ICF South Florida how wonderful Robin is. That was not leading at all.
As we begin to wrap some things up here, I thought I'd offer some tips for integrating these concepts and you actually coming up with your own. So it's all in your mindset. So the invitation is for you to play, to explore, experiment, and please, please, please give yourself some grace around this. Practice, 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 practice some more. You can reflect in writing, journal, notebook. I always love reflecting upon my coaching conversations, especially those that I'm like, what just happened there? Innovate. Consider new ways of thinking that maybe you hadn't before. When I say practice, try it at least 3 times. Learn from it. Try it, learn, adjust. Try it, learn, adjust. Try it, learn, adjust. Oh, no, that doesn't work for me. Oh, it works beautifully, especially when I do X, Y, and Z. You might have a way that you learn, that you trust. Engage in that. And lastly, think about this from all of the competencies. What is your way of being as you are demonstrating all of these lovely competencies? So thank you all very much. And we'll stop sharing and see what questions you may have, or comments, or emotional outbursts you may have around any of this. And I'm going to take a minute and read the chat. As you all are still percolating.
Robin, can I ask you a question? How long have you been at MCC?
Since 2020.
Okay. And have you seen a difference in the way you show up?
Absolutely. This has been a journey, and absolutely. I will share with you that my perspective is it's about being an MCC or being a coach. And so from that perspective, there were so many things that I needed to shift inside of myself, really taking myself, at and sending myself through the eye of the needle, or really working with myself about who am I being when I am supporting another through coaching or mentoring or supervising. Because to me, it isn't doing MCC coaching or doing PCC. It's being that. And that's where this came from, because it was about who am I being as I am demonstrating these competencies, all of these competencies, because that's where I wanted to shift. That's where I wanted to live, is in a way of being. Did that answer your question, Katya?
Yes, and I have an additional question, may I? And what was most helpful in your journey to be able to grow in that sense?
Brutal honesty for myself. Like like taking myself at issue, like being real with myself. Like when, Neil was talking about those deep secrets, those things that you don't say out loud. It is acknowledging that those were there and dealing with them. Like acknowledging that I have a bias against women from Texas with big hair.
Me too. I
And so knowing that, just letting it go. Like, okay, this is not real. You've made everything up about this person. Be there for that person. Like honestly being truthful with myself. And that sounds weird, honestly being truthful, but yet and still, I don't like lying to myself.
Thank you.
You're
Very much.
welcome. You're welcome. If there are no other questions, I'll turn it back over to Joanna, and I say thank you for your attention, your engagement, your questions, your comments, your energy, your time, your efforts. I so deeply appreciate you and the work that you do. As you know, the world needs you. We need more coaches, and the world truly, truly needs you. Thank you.
And speaking of thank you, thank you. Thank you, Robin. Yeah, that thing about really being at the end, being, who are you being? This isn't about doing, who are you being? And being honest with what my biases may be. I got some really great takeaways out of this session. And thank each of you for showing up for this, because these conversations don't happen without the people showing up. So thank each of you for being here, for engaging deeply and making this so worthwhile. There was a question in the chat about recordings. It will be available on the ICF South Florida YouTube channel as soon as they have it edited. It takes time to edit, so it takes a little while for it to go up. If you would be so kind, I had put it in the chat earlier, the Zoom link. You can also use this beautiful QR code with your camera and let us know how we did. Let us know what you'd like to see more of. We do listen, and we do have lots. You can go to the ICF South Florida calendar and check out what's coming. And with that, I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Oh, did everybody get what they needed with the QR code? Do I need to put it back up? Okay, we're good. Okay. Thank you all. Thank you all. Go forth and be that coach.
Thank you, Joanna.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Bye.
Bye.
You have a good day.
Thank you. Bye-bye.